we're back.
Welcome back to the Offbeat Business Show. We've been talking about growing versus hanging on, and we're going to share a little bit about understanding what your list is, because there's a lot of confusion out there about what exactly your list is, and maybe it's best if we define what it's not, Pam.
I guess, yeah. I know, well, I've just gotten into this whole list thing in the last 2 years, and when I started in it, everyone was like, how big is your list? How many do you have on your list? What are you doing with your list? Are you marketing to your list? And I was like, raising my hand, what's a list? I don't know. It's the people that have opted in, and I'm going to talk about opting in on our next show, but it's people that have said yes to basically receiving communication from you, and those are the people on your list. And sometimes people have different approaches, I think, and opinions, but some people think a big list is good. Some people think a smaller list with very engaged people is good. What are your thoughts? Tell me what you think your list
I would say, one thing I'd like to clear up about a list is that it's not your Facebook friends, and it's not your Facebook likes, and it's not your Twitter followers. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that marketers, when I've looked at doing some JV projects, and I ask them what's their list, and I go, wait a minute, they don't really have a list. They're talking about their Facebook followers. That is not somebody who's moved closer along the sales channel, and that is in effect what having a list does. It is it's where you've got an opt-in and an opportunity to offer free information, because we need information is the collateral of today. We need to share ourselves. People need to know who we are. They need to try us out a little bit. And having those free items out there, whether it's the newsletters, hopefully it's more than that. You've got to have some information that really showcases how you are a customer's solution.
Yep. Show your personality, show your voice, let them hear your, quote, voice through your words, and help them to see what value you have to bring to them in their business.
That's the word. If I have value, I ought to be able to show, not tell, my value, right? So you want to have that in there. So once you have moved that relationship from just a Facebook friend and a like, and a Twitter follower, into someone who's opted into your list, you can now start using email actually very, very effectively. That's really not done very often. It's pretty ineffective. However, most people don't realize that someone who is on your email list, the wisdom here is, guys, that person is 50% closer to a purchase decision with you than any of your social media communications, shares, likes, anything else. So that's a very valuable group of people to be working with, and it's a treasured group, because if you get in that inbox and you don't end up in spam, you've done something right, all right, and you can start really having a communication that should be a dialogue.
I agree, and I'm going to get on a tiny little soapbox here that I'm going to talk more about next week in my show when I talk about opt-ins. And I don't think I can fit on a tiny soapbox, but I'm going to try right now. But I agree that marketing to your list via email is a very critical part of a marketing strategy. But I'm stepping up on the box now, and I'm going to say that it shouldn't be your only marketing strategy, and you should not be pounding these people with emails.
Right. You've got to be very careful.
You have to have a strategy, and again, tune in next week, because I'm going to talk a little bit about other ways to reach people besides through your email list. But the list is important, and they've opted in. They like something that you've said. They like something that they've seen about you, and so they are asking for more information, and so you send them your freebie, and then continue to communicate with them valuable information, and then you can sell to them every now and then. But I believe it should be valuable information shared freely, and then every once in a while you try to sell.
And it's very important for you to be using it as service, because if you're not using a service, you really don't know who's opening what. So if you don't know who's opening what, how can you tell if you're being effective? And one thing that I see that happens a lot is people thinking that they're using a Gmail or Yahoo, right, to send out their to their list,
Mhm.
and they haven't put them through an email service.
Right.
And so there's no way of knowing whether or not that got opened up. Here's the damage that can do to your company. If it's not getting opened up, it's going to end up in a spam folder after a couple of unopens. That's not good for you. Once that starts going into the spam folders, now your email servers start paying attention to that.
Right.
And the more frequently that they go into the spam folders, they can be flagged as spam. You do not want to be in canned spam violation, which that is. You haven't given anyone, if they're on your list and it's just your personal email server,
Mhm.
you don't have any proof that they opted in, which I'm so glad you're going to hammer that home, because they need to be able to prove that they have requested that information from you.
And I think Canada just released some pretty strict laws related to spam and email and all of that. So I'm curious to see if the United States follows suit. But I don't know a lot of the details about that. But pretty strict laws against emailing people on your list, making sure that they've opted in.
Well, the other thing you need to make sure you're doing is what good is it if it gets into your inbox and they've opened it up, right? 'Cause it's one thing to get in. These are hurdles you're going to have to jump through, right? It's one thing to get in. It's another thing to have them open it. But what if you don't know if they're clicking through to your offer or clicking back to your website? Because that should be the point of absolutely everything you're doing online is to draw more traffic back to your website.
I think that, and this might be a topic of another show, or maybe we put something on our website about it, but you have to have obviously a resource to be able to manage your emails so that you can go in and see and look at the statistics to see who's clicking on the links, who's opening them, and there's lots of resources out there. So maybe we'll share that on our site that they can go look at after this show.
That's wonderful. I've actually done some comparisons I'd be happy to share.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because there's a huge price difference between what they offer and what you want with your email service is to be able to have social media options, forward to a friend options. If you can't do that, and if you're with a service that doesn't necessarily get in the inbox, it has a reputation for not getting in.
Right.
These are all things that don't work in your favor,
Right.
and you don't have time to waste, guys. It's not you just don't. You don't have time to waste. You have money to waste.
Correct. So you can go to our website, offbeatbusiness.com, and after the show, and find a comparison chart of the different. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I'm not going to say who I use, but
Well,
I use MailChimp, and it costs me $10 a month at this point. I'm about ready to have to bump up, but I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of money to be able to market well to your clients through your list and see the statistics and all of that. So.
And that's handy. I swear by AWeber, and I've loved them for years. One thing about some of the differences, you can end up with some add-on costs when they how they charge your subscriptions. So that's something to definitely look into.
Right.
You want to look into if they're going to charge you more for events or charge you more for certain communications than others. So that's handy, and I'm glad we've had a chance to know a couple different ones to share that knowledgeably, because some are and it really is how you feel about it, how comfortable you are understanding the platform. Because if you don't understand that platform, you're not going to get in it, and you really do need to make your life as easy as possible in business. You got money to make.
That's why I switched from who I was using, which I'm not going to say who, but to MailChimp, because I'm not techie, and it was very easy for me to jump in there and do that myself if I needed to. So lists are important. Our producer's laughing at me. Our lists are important, and so you need to be able to manage them right and get valuable information from what happens with the marketing that you send out through that list.
And I would say, guys, when we're talking about growing versus hanging on, developing your list is a very important perspective changer. You need to be able to think ahead like that. This isn't just a group of people that you need to send automatic stuff to because it's a mundane thing. Oh, you just got to reach out as part of your task. No, this is this beautiful opportunity to have a communication, to share with them, and to really start moving your business forward. And you've got to have that in your head all the time. How is this improving my game today? How is this upping my game today?
How am I serving my clients today through my list? How am I building a relationship with them?
Am I answering their questions?
Right.
So that's, if you don't know what to write about and you don't know what to share, that's number one. Make sure you're sharing what the questions that they're asking you
Asking you,
every
yes.
single day. Your customers will
Absolutely.
always show you the very next thing that you need to do. They're always going to show you where you need to improve.
Right. So we're going to wrap it up here on the Offbeat Business Show.
Now you've got a presentation that you offer, Pam. We were talking about that.
Yes. Do we have time to do that, Raul? Okay.
Because we want to make sure people realize that we're available for speaking. So we do need to be sharing some of these things with you and letting you know what a resource we can be for you.
What's my presentation?
Yes, you've got to.
Am I stop bouncing?
No, you had an email. You had an opt-in list presentation, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay. I just said you had an opt-in.
No. I'm
I'm
going to
full of
offer. She's full of crap, people. No.
Which we promised you we would never be.
It's last week's show.
Huh?
It's
What'd you
last week's show.
Yeah. No, I'm going to offer them, what I like to do is brainstorm with people about what to use for their opt-in.
Okay.
And
All right.
so should I offer that here?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Because he'll edit that, right?
I can edit it.
You can edit all that out.
I
Okay.
can't edit it.
Great, so one of
we're
my-
on live and you're catching all
You're
of it.
live. One of my passions and what I work with my clients on is helping them come up with ideas for their opt-ins, because a lot of times it's hard to figure that out for yourself when you're talking about your own business. And so I love to do that. What's your opt-in? What's it going to be? What's going to get attention? What's going to move people to opt into your list? So I'm going to offer our listeners a special on a power-packed little 30-minute session to where we can brainstorm together and come up with some ideas for you and your business for your opt-in. And so you can go to our website, offbeatbusiness.com, and that information will be there. And I would love to be able to spend some time with you and help you get your opt-in going and create something fun and fantastic.
And that's very cool. And I want to make sure you're aware that I did a presentation for small business and nonprofits to teach you 5 things you absolutely must know to have an effective marketing campaign
Great.
today, because it's very important, and there are 5 crucial elements that you need to be aware of to do it legally, to do it right, and be effective.
Love it.
All right.
So that's Offbeat Business Show today. Tune in next week where I talk about opt-ins, what is it, what you can, opt-ins, and what they are and what they aren't.
This is Susan Hamilton, the Richardson copywriter at Leaping Wallace Consulting and Services.
This is Pam Russell. We'll see you next week. That was long. Can you edit all that? Okay. You're the master.
Yeah, I want to end it with always with the offbeat business.
Yes.
The offbeat, but I thought if I plugged mine, you'd plug yours. Your business.
Well, I don't, right now I'm just Pam Russell because I haven't launched the Be Influence. Pam Russell with Pam Russell. I'm not going to say that. That sounds crazy. And
My
my-
dad
You can
was a
reach
butcher.
Pam.
My dad was a butcher, so I know how to trim.